Welcome to Improve Her with Hoovler, with her being your fantasy football team, Hoovler still being me, and the entire title still being workshopped. With the NFL draft finally donezo, I want to take a look at whom I think are the top 5 rookie QB prospects for superflex. As always, I reserve the right to change my mind later, a move which some politicians call flip-flopping, while others call being a normal human being. As will be always for this show, these evaluations are for redraft. If you're wondering about player values in dynasty formats, my answer is a resounding I don't know. I don't do dynasty well. What? I'm supposed to endure the consequences of my choices for years after I make them? People I already regret for I had for breakfast this morning. If you are interested in dynasty discussion, Football Absurdity can provide you with some great input from our Discord, linked in the comments section. But before you go there, keep in mind that our Discord is moderated by a tyrannical dictatorship that will brutally enforce the rules with one singular goal in mind: keeping it a chill place to be. We start at number 5, and my 5th highest ranked rookie QB in Superflex redraft is no one. There aren't 5 rosterable rookies in 2023. You might be saying, but what about Hendon Hooker, Hoovler? What about Hendon Here's a Hooker? Because of that book not moving the needle? Fine, I'll regroup, I'll try again later. Hendon Hooker might be nice for Dynasty. Again, I have no idea. But he will be a roster clog on your redraft squad, even in Superflex. He tore his ACL in November, and his recovery timeline goes all the way up to the start of the regular season. There is a decent chance he holds the clipboard for Jared Goff all year. And even if I'm wrong, even if I knew for a fact that he would start sometime in 2023, I still wouldn't draft Hendon Lee Hooker. Because John Lee Hooker? Getting colder. Anyway, Superflex Leagues has rules that you can only roster 3 QBs, usually. That means that either if your starting QB gets injured or his bye week comes up and Hooker still isn't on the field, you can guarantee that there will be no one on the waivers in decent-sized leagues. So leave Hendon undrafted in your redraft leagues because of his ACL issues. Wait, that's it. Achilles Hendon. Yes, we did it. Moving on. Actually, no, not moving on. Let's talk about injuries. I have a pet peeve. You know when a player suffers a horrific injury, one that was brutal to watch live, then the broadcast keeps showing that injury again and again, and everyone watching keeps saying, why do you keep showing that player suffer such a horrible thing? Cut to something else. Anything else. I don't want to see this person endure such agony over and over and over. Well, enough about Will Levis on draft night. Let's talk about his fantasy prospects. The Titans wanted an answer at quarterback in the first round, with Ryan Tannehill on the last year of his contract and injuring his right ankle twice in 2022. That second injury required surgery, and, in his own words, whatever the top rating on the pain scale, it was that. So, the Titans looked to the second round of this year's NFL draft for an answer at quarterback, hoping to return to their last high watermark, which was probably when they intercepted famed strawberry phobe Tom Brady's last pass as a New England Patriot in the wild card round of the 2019 season. And they decided that answer was Will Levis, also known as that guy who puts mayonnaise in his coffee. Although when you think about it, if the answer is mayonnaise, coffee, and that pick 6 against the Patriots, the question could be, what are the 3 things that haunt Tom Brady's nightmares? So the process is there. Will Levis is a top 5 prospect with innate pocket sense and an accurate arm. The knock against him is his decision-making. For instance, he threw 22 interceptions in his last 2 seasons at Kentucky. Tennessee has some playmakers, in particular second-year receiver Treylon Burks. While Levis will probably not start at the beginning of the season, I guarantee you he will be the starter sooner than later. Tennessee's 2023 offensive line is ranked last in the leagues by lineups.com. It's very likely that Tannehill can't stay healthy or the Titans go on a losing streak and just give up and put Will Levis in. I think that is his boon as a redraft Superflex bench stash. He's one of these guys who are an okay grab in the last few rounds of the Superflex redraft. I'd throw exactly $1 on him. Next up is Bryce Young. Or maybe it's CJ Stroud. Honestly, even though they are most definitely 2 distinct human beings, I'm having trouble telling their fantasy values apart. Both are pocket passers. Both will probably start week 1. Both got drafted by a team with no decent pass catchers. Both don't run the ball. Bryce Young had 185 rushing yards last year, but 100 of them came in the opening game, while C.J. Stroud had 108 rushing yards all year, but 44 of them came on one play. Now, the beauty of auction is that I don't actually have to rank them and can put them both at $5 in redraft. Maybe as high as $10 if you mismanage your earlier picks and are desperate at quarterback. But if you have to pick between the two, I'd lean C.J. Stroud because Houston wants to run a productive West Coast offense. But I'm not reaching on either of them. I'll wait to see if they fall to me after the 5th round. And while Carolina now has Miles Sanders, whom some consider to be a good pass-catching back, he hasn't cleared 200 receiving yards since his rookie year, and Houston's Dameon Pierce had twice the receiving yards Sanders did in 2023. Our number one fantasy fit is perhaps the most exciting pick of the first round. The Colts selected quarterback Anthony Richardson, whose nickname was AR, until he wisely asked the media, such as myself, not to call him that. Now, this is partly because AR is the initials of a tool of deadly destruction, but also because AR is the initials of an even bigger tool, Aaron Rodgers. Indianapolis, whose team slogan appears to be the baffling "for the shoe," is expecting Anthony Richardson to slide into the shoes of former NFL MVP Matt Ryan. Right now, his primary receivers are Michael Pittman, Alec Pierce, and the newly drafted Josh Downs, who recently tweeted a video of himself unboxing an enormous rookie card with the message, "God is great, make of that whatever you will." Anthony Richardson is the only rookie QB worth more than $1 in superflex redraft. This is because he is a dual threat or Konami code quarterback, making him ideal for fantasy, providing he wins the starting job. But to do that, he has to beat out the unprecedentedly charming Gardner Minshew. Delicious. Now, we are months away from the preseason, so we are yet to know what stunts Minshew will get up to, like buying a prison van, parking outside of his gym, and living in it for months, as he did last offseason. How's he going to top that this year? Maybe living inside of his team's stadium? But Baker Mayfield already tried that, and look what happened to him. So, for now, you can't draft Richardson in Superflex expecting him to start immediately. However, the Colts didn't draft him 4th overall to sit much at all during the season. That would be insane. While we know Colts owner Jim Irsay is insane, most recently tweeting asking Colts fans if they should also pick Will Levis after they had already drafted Richardson. But picking the breakout star of the NFL Combine and not seeing what he can do is one of the few things actually more insane than Jim Irsay. All of this is saying is that Anthony Richardson is worth being picked up as your 3rd quarterback in Superflex. Actually, no, your 2nd quarterback. He's one of the top 24 in fantasy, I'm saying. So I would go for about 25 auction bucks or 3rd round if he falls to that. That's all for this video. Join me later in the week when I talk about DeAndre Swift. And please, if you like this, hit the like and subscribe buttons. My goal is to get 5 million likes in the next 4 seconds, and you can help with that. So this is Evan Hoovler for Football Absurdity saying goodbye. Goodbye.